Hey, how are you? We are live from Washington, D.C., wherever you are and however you may be listening. How are you doing? My name is Hassan Riggs. I'm the founder, CEO at Smart Alto, and we got a great one for you today. How you doing? Make sure as a side note, if you are here, you're listening, make sure you click the little button that says something about Ecamm Live and let me know you're here. So you got to click that button so that I can see who you are, what your name is, and kind of read your comments as they come through. Because I know a lot of people are going to be watching, they're going to be tuning in because we got a really good show today. But if you don't click that button that says that allows me to see your name, hey Chris, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, click that button, Chris. You showed up for it, but then it went away, and I don't know why that happens. But super excited to chat with you all. Glad to be here. We got a great show for you today. Wherever you are, however you may be listening, my name is Hassan Riggs. I'm the founder, CEO at Smart Alto. And what we do at Smart Alto is we convert your online real estate leads into quality 15-minute appointments. And so when you generate leads from Facebook, Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, we take those leads, put them in the Smart Alto, and we qualify them, capture some basic information about them, and then we set a 15-minute phone appointment, which we can put directly on your calendar. But today, we're not going to be talking about that. What we're talking about today is how to build your brand, how to create meaningful and valuable relationships through digital marketing, and I'm going to analyze some of the best Facebook ads. And so this is going to be a series that I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks. And so today we're only going to cover like part one of this. Right, so we're only going to cover part one, and we're going to cover some of the fundamentals, some of the foundational kind of concepts around what it takes to be a successful marketer. Not just a successful digital marketer, but a successful marketer in general. So anytime you're trying to influence people, anytime you're trying to get people to go from zero to one, anytime you're trying to get people to do business with you, to work with you, anytime you want to convince someone to go from where they are to where you want them to go, you can use these principles that I'm going to share with you today. And so when you think about, a lot of people think about marketing and they think about business as a really like creative process, and the most creative person wins. And I've never started a business, or I've never been really good at marketing because I'm not creative. That's hogwash. Don't believe any of that. Most of the time people are lying to you. And I don't want you to lie to yourself. You first must understand the fundamental building blocks of business, right? And so, what I'm going to share with you today is the fundamental building blocks of marketing. I'm going to show you the things that savvy marketers use in order to create really good advertisements, in order to create really good copy, in order to create really good images, in order to create really good ads that can be used on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, direct mail. It doesn't matter where your ads are. I'm going to show you have these ads, how you can create these ads so you don't have to always just steal what everyone else is doing. Now, there is a concept out there that's called a swipe file, where you can swipe and deploy, where you can see what someone else is doing and get inspiration from that. But that's a losing man's game in the end. Fundamentally, what you want to do is understand the building blocks of marketing so you can put them together like Lego. And you can build your own little Lego house. You can understand the building blocks, the foundational principles, put them together like Lego, and create your own unique advertising that creates a very unique brand to you that helps you stay away from and cut through all the noise. Because if everyone is copying everyone else, then no one is different and everyone loses. You just become a different iteration of everyone else that's out there in the marketplace, as opposed to being uniquely you, cutting through all that noise, cutting through all the hogwash, and really getting a strong brand that's in the marketplace, something that you can feel proud about. And I'm going to share with you some of the fundamental building blocks on how to do that, how to think independently as opposed to just thinking with the crowd. Because when you think with the crowd and you do what everyone else is doing, then you get what everyone else has. And most people are average. So if you want to be average, then that's fine, be average, but just know that that's where the competition is, right? And you're going to get average results. I don't believe that you're average. Maybe it's me, maybe I'm foolish, maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but I don't believe that you're average. I believe that you're here today. You're in this real estate marketing mastermind group. You're listening to this, to me talk. You're watching this Facebook Live because you are above average. And so you just need a little push to pull back some of the onion to really kind of dive into and to really live who you truly are and create some of the advertisements and to be the real estate agent, mortgage broker, team lead that you really are, because you can do it. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it. No one comes out of the womb knowing how to be a great marketer. This is a learned skill. One of the things that I'm going to share with you today is the fundamental building blocks and some of the things that they've learned. I can't give you what I call D squared. D squared is the desire and the discipline. If you come to this presentation today with D squared, the desire and the discipline, that I'm going to share with you the fundamental building blocks that you need to learn to create your own unique advertising to stand away from the crowd, everyone, right? I can teach you the tools. I can teach you the systems. I can't give you the desire and the discipline. My mom told me that when I was really young. She said, "Hey, be an independent thinker, be curious, learn, grow, try, test new things." I can kind of teach you some of that stuff, but I can't give you the desire and the discipline to be great. Right? I believe that you're here today because you're great. You want to be great. You're working to be great. And this is one of the many steps that you will take in order to be great, because life and relationships is built on micro commitments. Marketing is built on micro commitments. Relationships are built on micro commitments. You get people to make small, meaningful commitments to you. When I first met Ashley, as many of you know, Ashley, that's my wife. She works for the FBI. And when I first met her, I didn't walk up to her and say, "Would you marry me today?" I didn't walk up to her and just put my tongue down her throat. She was very gorgeous when I met her, but I didn't walk up to her and do that. That's weird. That's not natural. It's not normal, because that's asking too big of a commitment too soon. Life is built on not just commitments, but micro commitments. And so, what I'm going to share with you today, we're going to talk about the concept of micro commitments. We're going to talk about how to build strong, valuable relationships with people through digital marketing. We're going to talk about how you build relationships online the same way you do offline. We're going to talk about all these concepts so that you have the fundamental building blocks that it takes in order to take your game from here to here, right? From here to here. Most people are living here. You want to live here. And that's some of the stuff we're going to show for you today. So, again, Hassan Riggs, founder, CEO at Smart Alto, really excited to be here with you today. Give me a shout out in the comment section just to let me know who you are and who we're dealing with here. And throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, any comments, then be sure to ping me, because every now and again I'm going to stop and I'm going to ask you a couple of things, because I want this to be more of a workshop and less of like just me talking and doing monologue. So there will be like some homework at the end. There will be Q&A, but let's treat this more like a conversation and less like we're going to school, right? All right. So with that said, to share my screen. And by the way, let me know, can you hear me okay? I can turn my volume up if you can't hear me okay, but it says my audio is coming through perfectly clear right now. Um, hey, what's going on, Travis? Good to see you in the building, buddy. Good to see group members. Okay. So click that link. I just tried to share a link with you. If you click that link, then I'll be able to see who you are. I saw my buddy Travis, and I think we still got to get a call scheduled, Travis. I know that we've been kind of playing not phone tag but message tag through Facebook Messenger, and I know that you want to chat, and so we're gonna chat here. I am quick, just like um, not even housekeeping, just like random thought, is I was speaking to one of our clients and one of my buddies, Ken, several months ago. Maybe it was back in or so, and he was telling me about how last Christmas him and his family, they went on a road trip. I forgot where they went. I have it somewhere in my notes, but they went on a road trip, and he talked about just the like creating these wonderful experiences with his family and with his kids by going on that road trip. And I started thinking. I told him then. I said, "Hey, you know what, man? I think for this Thanksgiving, I think we're going to go on a road trip. Me and my wife going to go on a road trip." Well, this Friday is the road trip. So it's a really short one. We're going down. I live in Washington D.C. area. We're going down to Charlotte. We're going to have a couple of stops on the way. We're going to spend a couple of days in Charlotte, and then we're going to make our way back. And so I'm looking forward to a road trip. If any of you are here and you're going to be down in the Charlotte area, give me a shout out. Show me some, tell me about some good restaurants that I can go down there and eat some food. I've been to Charlotte a couple of times, but it's been years since I've been there, since I've been to Charlotte. So, little side note, you've been to Charlotte, you live in Charlotte, you got some great restaurants, let me know. One final thing before we start. Did you know, and maybe you can mention this in the comment section, did you know that Chris Smith, the founder of Curator, stepped down a couple of days ago? Yeah. Chris Smith is no longer working on the day-to-day operations at Curator. He is now, I believe, I think he still sits on the board, so he's still involved with the company, but he's not in the day-to-day operations of Curator anymore. Jimmy has taken that over. Jimmy is now the CEO of Curator. It's the first time they've ever had a single CEO because prior to that they had like I think Chris and Jimmy were like co-CEOs. They both had like you know everything was split equally. Chris was more like the outward facing. Jimmy did a lot of the internal planning, but Chris has recently stepped down. And now, if you know what he's doing, because he stepped down, he's going to do something pretty interesting. If you know what that is, let me know. Um, well, put it in the comment section. If you don't know what it is, at the end of this comment, at the end of this talk today, I'll tell you what it is. It's a little teaser for you. So, all right, let me share my screen. Mm, boom. Okay, so we're talking about really how to build your brand through digital marketing. How to create better, valuable relationships through digital marketing. How can you build strong relationships with people through digital marketing? And we're going to, hey, what's going on, Robert? How you doing? Um, Great to have you here, man. You, let me see. Let me see. I'm trying to put. Let me see. Put some of this stuff here. I'm testing a couple of things out. There we go. Testing a couple things out. I don't know if y'all can see that. I just tried something different though. Um, so again, this is like a multi-part series where I'm gonna be analyzing some of the best Facebook ads, and I'm going to share with you the fundamental building blocks on how you can create your own great advertisements. Hey, what's going on, Robert? Great to see you, buddy. But first, before we dive into the specific ads, you need to know the makeup of a good ad. And so we're going to talk about how to move people from 0 to 1. We're going to talk about um, how to influence people, how to get people to do business with you and prefer you over and above everyone else. And so again, my name is Hassan Riggs, the founder CEO at Smart Alto. And if you're still doing business today the same way you did a few years ago, then I got two words for you. And those two words are Radio Shack. So it's one of my favorite quotes that I say. I say it quite a bit. It's in the real estate marketing mastermind group. It's one of the first things that you see when you get in there. And that's because the world is changing. The world continuously changes. And what happens to most people is they're not they're working in their business, but they're not working on their business. And so, therefore, they're not able to take a step back and actually understand and see how the world is changing around them. That's why you have so many people today who when a new lead comes in, they're calling that lead as opposed to text messaging that lead. I was talking to somebody a couple of days ago who's still doing circle prospecting. I used to do circle prospecting. Trust me, that sucks. But people are still doing it. And I'm not saying you can't close deals doing circle prospecting. And matter of fact, I'll give you some numbers on that. We used to, when I was doing circle prospecting, we would close 1 to 2%, 1.5% of deals of the people I actually spoke to on the phone. So if I called 100 people, did I actually talk to 100 people on the phone? No. I would have to call several hundred people, eight, 900 people, 1,000, 1,200 people, 1,400 people to actually have 100 meaningful conversations. Well, that would take me a long time. And so for every 100 people, we would close one and a half of those deals. That's a very grueling, time intensive, really inefficient way to do business. But you still have a lot of people today in 2019 who are cold calling folks, a lot of people who are doing business that way because the world has changed around them and they haven't changed with it. Now, you have teams, Tim Hell at KW, a lot of big performing teams have armies of people on the phone who are making those calls. But if you are one or two people on a team, you got to figure out, because you can't compete with those guys. You got to figure out how to be more efficient. You got to figure out how to be more efficient. And I'm not saying that, uh, hey Joe, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, it's going to be recorded. I know you messaged me. I think you sent me a text and said that you may have to go early, but yeah, this is going to be recorded, Joe. So afterwards, I'll send it out to you, buddy. Um, so a lot of people they're still like making those phone calls, and if if Walmart has come to town, how does the small hardware shop compete with Walmart? It's by being more efficient. It's by focusing on the customer relationships. It's by like not decreasing your price, but actually potentially increasing your price. The point I'm sharing here is that you have to change your strategies as the landscape changes, as the world around you changes, you have to change. And if you don't, you're going to get left behind. And we've heard the stories of Radio Shack, of Blockbuster, of Kmart, of Rite Aid, of all these companies that didn't change with the times and ultimately ended up going out of business or they're struggling because they did not test and learn and experiment. And we all think that we want to be the person who adapts new technology, who tests and learn, who grows with the business, who figures out what's working now. But the reality is, most people just follow what everyone else is doing. The reality is, most people just follow what everyone else is doing. And if you follow what everyone else is doing, then you're going to be average. And as I started today, I don't believe you're average. I think you're above average. And so I want you to know this is a fundamental concept is that the sale is made when the relationship is built. I said the sale is made when the relationship is built. And if you truly believe that the sale is made when the relationship is built, then you need to build as many strong, valuable relationships with as many people as possible, as often as possible, as fast as possible. But the question is, how do you do that when you got people who are coming in through Google, through Facebook, through homes.com, realtor.com? How do you build relationships with people through digital marketing? We're going to talk about some of that and how you move people from zero to one. And so the goal of marketing, the true goal of marketing, if you truly believe that the sale is made when the relationship is built, the goal of marketing is to start conversations with buyers and sellers that predictably moves them through deeper phases of the client agent relationship. That's the goal. That's what you're trying to do. You are trying to start conversations in your marketing with every Facebook ad that you run, with if you're doing it, if you're getting leads from homes.com, realtor.com, I don't care where you're getting leads from, Facebook, Instagram, it doesn't matter, any online leads. Your job is not just to get the lead, but to start conversations with people and predictably and consistently move them through deeper phases of the client agent relationship. That is your job. That is the goal of marketing. That is the goal anytime you sit down and put together a marketing strategy, a marketing campaign, a go to market. That is your goal. And if your marketing is not starting more conversations with more people, then you're missing the human element in your marketing. And I'm going to show you how to put the human element in your marketing so you can start more conversations and predictably and consistently move people through deeper phases of the client agent relationship. And we're not going to talk much about the client agent relationship today, but on phase two or part three of this, we are going to talk about the client agent relationship and how that relationship never ends. So it's not a straight line, it's not like a funnel, it's more of a circle, right? It's not a funnel that has an end to it that ends with the client, ends with the person becoming your client. It continues to go until and it's a never ending relationship. And so take a picture of this, write this down, get out your notepad, and understand that your goal is to start conversations with buyers and sellers and predictably move them through deeper phases of the client agent relationship. And I want a couple of folks to tell me in the chat, is your marketing currently doing this? Think about it and be honest with yourself. Is your marketing currently starting conversations with people? If you get 100 leads this month, how many of those people are going to move to starting conversations with you, to booking an appointment with you? How many of those people are going to ultimately decide to choose you as their agent and close a deal? You got to know your numbers, guys, gals. You got to know your numbers. Think about the last 100 leads that you got. How many of those people do you estimate are going to actually start conversations with you? Go, book a 15-minute phone appointment with you. Get them over to the lender. Ultimately, go show them homes and close a deal. How many of those people are going to do that? Because if your marketing isn't starting conversations with people, then you need to put the human element into your marketing. And so today we're going to talk about the 6 ways to influence buyers and sellers. Um, and then next we'll talk about the 7 steps to a marketing strategy. And then later on, we'll help you create your marketing strategy, create some of your Facebook ads, um, and and kind of help you think through that process. And ultimately, if you don't want to do this yourself, then you got to work with people who can do it for you. And I can share with you that if you don't know about them right now, I give a shout out to my buddy William Hegman, who is great at generating online real estate leads for you. Absolutely fantastic at it. So your goal is to move people from 0 to 1. Right? You got to move people from 0 to 1. The hardest thing to do in marketing, the hardest thing to do in life is to move people from 0 to 1, right? To take people who may not have a relationship with you at all, they may not know you, they may not like you, they may not trust you, they haven't been working with you at all, to take those people and ultimately get them to start a conversation with you, to, to decide, to make a decision. The most common decision that people make is to do nothing. Because when there's a new prospect out there or you get a new lead, they got a lot of decisions that they could make. They could A, choose to respond to you, B, choose to respond to someone else or the other 15 realtors who are calling them, texting them, emailing them, or whatever. C, do nothing at all. Do nothing. And the most common thing, the most common decision that people make with their thinker, with their filler, with their chooser, their brain, what they do, the most common decision that people make is do nothing. They decide not to make any decision at all. That's what they do. They don't make any decision. And so if you know the most common decision that people make is to not make a decision right now, your job is to figure out how can you get them to not only make a decision but to prefer you over and above everyone else. The hardest thing to do in marketing, the hardest thing to do in life is to move people from zero to one. And now I'm going to share with you the six most scientifically proven ways to move people from zero to one. And you can question this, you can fight this, you can argue with me about this. It doesn't matter. You can do anything that you want to do to deny this, but this isn't my opinion. This is based upon facts. It's based upon science. It's based upon actual results. It's not based upon what I feel or what I thought or something that I sat down and dreamt up one day. It's actually based upon hard science, upon results, upon facts. And we can have different opinions, but we can't have different facts. And what I'm going to share with you now are the facts, the six most scientifically proven ways to move people from zero to one, to get them to choose you, to get them to do business with you over and above everyone else. Here are the things that you need to think about and how you can influence people throughout their journey. Number one, authority. These are fundamental principles on ways to influence people. Number one, authority. Authority. So, from the time we were kids, this is a way, again, I'm about to share with you the six most fundamental and scientifically proven ways to move people from zero to one to get them to do business with you. These are concepts and strategies that you can start implementing in all of your advertisements, in your Facebook ads, your Google ads, whatever. You can start implementing some of these strategies. Number one is authority. From the time we were kids, we were taught to respect your authority figures. Parents, teachers, police officers, clergy, politicians. Well, maybe politicians. I take that one back. Not politicians, right? But but you know, all these people, we were we were taught to respect your authority figures because authority figures know best. So if I'm driving down the street, hey, what's going on, Wes? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you here, man. If I drive down the street and someone who's dressed up as a police officer steps out of their car and puts their hand up, what am I going to do? I'm going to stop my car. If someone who's dressed up like a police officer tells me to stop my car, I'm going to stop my car. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever been pulled over by a police officer? You stop your car. Why do you stop? Because you perceive that person to be an authority figure. Because we're all taught to respect our authority figures. We're all taught that authority figures know best. Respect your authority figures, teachers, doctors, lawyers, accountants, um, police officers, clergy, politicians, scientists, people who are authority figures in the marketplace. That's one of the reasons, all right, I'm gonna pull back the curtain a little bit, is one of the reasons, um, Wes, when people come to the real estate marketing mastermind Facebook group and I introduce myself, I say, I'm a writer and contributor for Forbes. I've spoken at Inman. I've spoken at NAR. I'm the founder and CEO at Smart Alto. What am I doing? I'm not saying that to impress you. I'm saying that to impress upon you that I'm an expert in this space. I'm an authority figure, that people listen to me when I speak because they know I'm here to help them. And I'm not just trying to sell them something, I'm here to help people. And I've elevated my personal and my professional profile to guru status because of my authority figure, my position in the marketplace. And so you have to think about how can you become an authority figure in the market? How are you an authority figure? And you can, just because you've been doing business in your local area for 30 years doesn't make you an authority figure. You can be in the business 6 months and be an authority figure. What you need to know is that in the land of the blind, the one eyed man is king. Have you ever heard that statement, by the way? In the land of the blind, the one eyed man is king. I would be so interested to know who's heard of that before and who knows what that means. In the land of the blind, the one eyed man is king. What does that mean? Think about that for a second. You think about that, I'm going to drink some water. I'm getting thirsty. I'm talking a lot. Man, I got to start drinking more water during the day. Whew. Land of the blind, the one eyed man is king. So, what that means is in order to be an authority figure in your local area, in order to be the king, you don't have to know more than everyone in your market. You just have to know more than the people you're talking to. Alina, hey, Alina, how you doing? Alina said the person who has a small of amount of knowledge people don't know, I have the same knowledge as king. Someone that knows something is more powerful than someone who knows nothing. That's right. Yep. You got what I need. You seen what I need. You can help me get what I need to. Yeah, that's all really good answers. That's all really good answers. All fantastic answers. In the land of the blind, a one-eyed man is king. You don't have to know more than everyone. You just got to know more than the people you're talking to. Most of the people in the marketplace, they're getting all of their knowledge. Alina, I think you're in California. I forgot what area of California you're in, Alina. But can you tell me that so that I know? I'll use that you as an example. So if you're in Pasadena, California, you're in Columbia, South Carolina, you're in Birmingham, Alabama, most of the people out there are getting their knowledge from Google. They're learning about the market through Google. From HGTV, you're right. Oh, Alina, you're in LA. Yeah, they're getting their knowledge from like all these, anyone can put up a blog post, man. They put anyone on TV nowadays. Just because you're on TV don't make you don't doesn't mean you actually know what's happening in your local market. So people are getting their information from all of these unwieldy, unreputable places. And then they think they're an expert because they read a blog post from some guy who doesn't even live in their market. You are a local market expert. You are an authority figure, but now you just have to show and prove to people that you're an authority figure. And you can do that through video by market updates. When we talk about really good Facebook ads, I'll show you some ways that Susie Morrison, who's in the real estate marketing mastermind Facebook group, is doing some absolutely brilliant things in her local market to position herself as an authority figure. So you can do that through video. If you're not creating videos or on market updates, you can go around, you can interview local businesses. There's a lot of ways that you can position yourself as an authority figure in your local market. And it doesn't take a huge budget, but it's something that you need to do. You need to think about doing. And if you put some ideas in the comment section, when I get finished here, I'll go back and I'll add some additional ideas in the comment section. And then when we talk about part two of this, I'll show you, we'll start to analyze those Facebook ads, and I'll specifically show you what makes some of these ads great and why I'm mentioning them. Right? So, how are you positioning yourself as an authority figure in the marketplace, understanding that people look around and they look at authority figures and they do what they say. They don't question them. People want to work with those they believe are authority figures. Number two, social proof. Social proof. So before people make a big important decision, they look around and see who else is making that decision, and then they follow suit. Because people move in packs, people move in groups. This is based on science. This is a scientifically proven way to influence people. It's not my opinion, it's fact. We can have different opinions, but we can't have different facts. Facts move the needle forward. Before people make a decision, they look around to see who else has made that decision and then they follow suit. Why do you think Amazon tells you, look at people who bought this have also bought this? People who bought this tie also bought this suit. What are they doing? They're adding social proof to the mix. That yeah, there are 500 people who've given this person a review. Before people make a decision, they take a look around to see what everyone else is doing, and then they make that same thing. Do you remember when you were a kid and your mom said, "Hey, if everyone else jumped off a bridge, would you do it too?" You know the real answer to that question is yeah, probably. Because I think that all of these people couldn't be wrong, could they? If I'm on a bridge with 1,000 people and 1,000 people jump off the bridge, do you think I'm going to be the only sucker who's standing on the bridge? No, I'm going to jump off the bridge too. I don't know. Is a train coming? Is, you know, is a lion coming? Like, am I in danger? Do I need to get away? I'm not think for myself. Sadly, I'm going to do what everyone else is doing. Home buyers and sellers are the same way. You, me, your husband, your wife, your kids, we're all the same way. We take a look around to see what everyone else is doing, and then we make a similar decision. We do the same thing. And that's because social proof is at play. Social proof. So, how can you use social proof in your market? This is why Google reviews are so important. Why Facebook reviews are so important, why Zillow reviews are so important. That's the reason. You got to figure out the ways that you can use social proof in your advertising, in your marketing. How can you show people that other people have done business with you and they have had good experiences? How can you do that? There's a lot of ways to do it. How can you do it in your local market? How can you show folks that you are not just an authority figure, but a lot of people have done business with you and they like it? How can you add social proof to your marketing? I would love to hear some of the ideas. Again, on part 2 and 3 of this, I'm going to share some real live examples of Facebook ads that people have done and what makes those ads great. One thing that you need to know with regards to social proof and getting reviews is you don't need to close a deal before you ask for a review. You do not need to close a deal or have a closed transaction before you ask for a review from someone. The reason is because most of the value that you provide to people is done before the transaction closes. So why would you wait then until the transaction closes before you ask for them to review how you're doing? With the review, the only thing you're doing is asking people to review your performance. That's what they're doing, reviewing your performance. So, why would you wait until the end of the transaction to figure out how you're doing? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You can ask people to review your performance before before you close a deal with them. People don't even have to be your client to give you a review on how well you know the market. If you've ever talked to someone and helped them think through whether or not they need to sell their home or whether or not it is the right time to buy, you've provided tremendous value to that person because they're going around Googling answers and then ultimately decided to get on the phone and call you, and you're helping them think through the transaction process, and they're not even your client because they may not, maybe they don't need to sell their home, maybe they need to renovate it instead. maybe they don't need to buy because you're estimating that prices are going to go up or I'm going to go down. And so they need to wait a little while before they buy. So think about the ways that that you can get reviews in your market. Commitment and consistency. So again, we're talking about the most scientifically proven ways to move people from 0 to 1, to influence them, to get them to start doing business with you. How are you doing that? How are you getting people to start doing business with you, to move them from 0 to 1 as fast as possible and as often as possible? We talked about commitment. I'm sorry, we talked about um, authority. We talked about social proof. This is commitment and consistency. Commitment and consistency. So, what does this mean? Life is built on commitments. Marketing is built on micro commitments. When people make a small decision, when they make a decision, they're more likely to stick with that decision than do anything else. And the reason is because we make decisions all day long. And every decision that we make, every single decision that we make, a part of our identity is built into that decision. That becomes a little bit of who we are. And people want to be known as a person who's reliable, who's trustworthy, a person who keeps their commitments, a person who you can depend on, a person who's a stand up guy or gal, a person who is going to follow through. We've all taught our kids don't give up, stick to it, don't quit, follow through, be there, show up. In sports, they say your best asset is your availability, showing up for work, right? Right? No one wants to be known as someone who's unreliable, inconsistent, doesn't follow through. You're a quitter, you're a loser, right? No one wants to be known as someone who's erratic, who does unexpected things, who is not someone they can depend on. People want to be known as someone who's consistent, who's reliable, who's trustworthy, who is rational, who's logical. They want to be known as that. And so, if you can get someone to make a small but meaningful commitment to you, that's what you want to do. That's the goal. And so, the problem that people have is that they ask for too big of a commitment too soon. They're running Facebook ads online that says, come have a buyer's consultation with me, or let me have a listing appointment with you. The person doesn't know, like, or trust you, and you're already asking them to get married to you. It doesn't make any sense. It's really ludicrous. It's something you shouldn't do. People don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you. Why are you asking them to marry you through Facebook? Doesn't it make more sense to build a relationship on micro commitments? Alina, doesn't it make more sense to build a relationship on micro commitments? Joe, I don't know if you're still there, but Wes, right? Doesn't it make sense to build a relationship on micro commitments to get people to make small, meaningful commitments to you? That's why when a new lead comes through, the best thing that you can do is text them because it's a small, meaningful commitment. When people start a conversation with you, they are more likely to continue a conversation with you. But you got to get them to start the conversation and put the human element in your marketing, right? Hey Wes, what's going on, buddy? Doesn't it make sense, Wes, to 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 get people to make a small, meaningful commitment to you as opposed to walking up to a girl and saying, "Hey, would you marry me today?" and you've never met her before? Doesn't it make sense to introduce yourself first, to ask for her telephone number so that you can follow up with her later, right? So, like, life is built on micro commitments. Life is about relationships, and life is built on micro commitments. Relationships are built on micro commitments. So you have to ask yourself, how are you structuring your market get micro commitments with people? How are you structuring this to get micro commitments from folks? Because your marketing should start conversations with people. If it's not, you're missing the human element in your marketing. If your marketing isn't starting conversations with people, then you're not building micro commitments into the process. You're asking for something too large too soon. And I'm going to show you some ads that do a great job at building micro commitments. Reciprocity. Reciprocity. Again, we're talking about the six most scientifically proven ways to move people from zero to one to get them to influence and prefer you over and above everyone else, to get them to take action. Reciprocity. When you do something for someone, they're more likely to do something for you. When you do something for someone, they are more likely to do something for you. And so, how does this translate? Well, have you ever been invited to someone's house and then felt like a little obligation? Man, I should really take something. I don't want to show up empty handed. I should take like some wine or some flowers or a candle, but something I need to take over there so that so that I don't show up empty-handed. Even if the person didn't ask you to take anything. It makes sense. Why? Reciprocity. Because when someone does something for us, we are more likely to then reciprocate, to do something for them. This is where the list of homes Facebook ad comes into play. How many folks out there have ever run a list of homes Facebook ad? And that list of homes ad says, hey, don't worry about trying to find all the homes in San Diego, or don't worry about trying to find all the homes. I'll use you, Alina, because I know you're in LA. Don't worry about all the trying to find all the single story homes in LA with HOA dues less than $500. I've put together I've put together a comprehensive list of all the single story homes in LA with HOA dues less than $500. All you have to do is click this button and I'll send the list over to you ASAP. List of homes ad. That's what it is. It's based upon a reciprocity ad. I'm going to give you this list of homes in exchange for your name, telephone number, and email address. I'm going to give you this list of homes in exchange for your name, telephone number, and email address. I do something for you, you do something for me. This for that. Quid pro quo. I don't know how much you watch the news, but it's a lot of talk about quid pro quo going on in the news right now. This for that. If you do this for me, I'll do this for you. Reciprocity. Reciprocity. When you do something for someone, they are more likely to reciprocate to do something for you. So, how are you building this into your ads? I'm going to show you some really good examples. One pro tip is what you ask for can be more than what you gave. You can ask for something small. You can give something small and ask for something big. You can give something small and then ask for something big. Okay? So those two things don't need to be in proportion to one another. So we've talked about authority. We've talked about social proof, commitment and consistency, reciprocity. We got two more. I'm gonna go through these a little bit more quickly because I have a 3 o'clock. I gotta talk to someone. 3 o'clock. So I'm gonna go through these a little bit more quickly. Liking, liking. People do things for those they know, like, and trust. People they know, like, and trust. They know, like, and trust. How can you get people to know, like, and trust you through digital marketing? One way is through building affinity. Building affinity. So, sharing things about your life, what you like to do, showing common interests, finding common ground, not only talking about real estate all the time, but also talking about the fact that, hey, my name is Hassan and I like Alabama football. My wife works for the FBI. I'm taking a road trip to Charlotte. Have you ever been to Charlotte before? People know things about my life. And this is going to do two things: attract and repel. It's going to attract people who like you and repel people who don't. And that's perfectly okay. But you have to stand for something or else you'll fall for anything. You have to be something to someone, to some group of people, or you'll be nothing to everyone. So you got to share more about your life. And so ask yourself this question: what's your brand in the marketplace? If you go to your Facebook page right now, your personal Facebook page, and you ask people to describe you in 3 words, that's your brand. The culmination of that is your brand. One of those things should be real estate agent, but two of those things should not be, because your brand in the marketplace should not just be about, oh, this person is an agent. If you ask people what they know about you, and the only thing that people know is that you're a real estate agent, that's your brand. That's the only thing that you have. And you're not using some of the more powerful things in your marketing toolkit, like the influence of liking, to build relationships with people through digital marketing. People should know that you like to cook. People should know that you like to hike. People should know that you're a rock climber or that you love Alabama football, roll tide. People should know those things about you. So you got to figure out, what brand do you want to have in the marketplace and how are you establishing that brand? And I'll show you some really good examples of how Ed does that, Ed Terrace. I'll show you some examples of how Susie Morrison does that, of how Steve Jolly does that. I'll show you some examples of how people are really doing that. Scarcity. Scarcity. This is number six. The six most scientifically proven ways to move people from 0 to 1, to influence them, to get them to do business with you, to prefer you over and above everyone else in the marketplace. Scarcity. When something is scarce, the value of it goes up. Ashley, my wife, she grew up in, well, her dad is from Tennessee. Her mom is from the Bahamas. So when she was young, like, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 years old, she spent a lot of time in the Caribbean, in the West Indies, specifically Bahamas, in Nassau. And then she spent the other part of her time in Florida. And it's one thing you know about Florida and the Caribbean is that it gets a lot of hurricanes. Well, during hurricane season, what can you not find at the grocery store? If you go to the grocery store during hurricane season, what are two things you can absolutely not find? Can't find any bread, can't find any water. Can't find them. Why? Because the perceived value of those things have gone up because they're scarce. Same loaf of bread now costs you $6. Richard, sorry about that. I was a Clemson Tiger. Walk on the way back under Coach Denny Ford. Go Tigers. Oh man, you're killing me. You're killing me. Roll Tide, man. Roll Tide. You can't absolutely find them. Go Nick Saban. Yeah, I know. Thank you, man. I know Tua, he had a rough go at it. Tua Tagovailoa. I think they're saying he may fall in the draft a little bit because of it. If he does, he'll go to a better team. It'll be better for him, long term. Goes somewhere like Pittsburgh. If he goes to the Dolphins, good luck trying to turn the Dolphins around. So, but yeah, and you can't find these things at the at the supermarket, bread, water, because those things are high in value. And so, how can you use this in your marketing? I'm gonna show you how Steve Jolly used this in some of his marketing. In part two of this, when we talk about how this is actually kind of turns into Facebook ads. Well, how interest rates may change and using the changes in interest rates to your benefit, because people may be thinking, oh no, I'll just wait to buy. Well, no, have some built-in scarcity there. If you're going to wait to buy, you're going to pay 50% more, 15% more for the same house because interest rates are changing or demand is going up or whatever. Like, use that to your benefit. Figure out how you can use scarcity to your benefit. Okay. So next, we're going to talk about the 7 steps to a marketing strategy. That's going to be not now. That is going to be in a week, not a couple of weeks, probably like next week sometime. We're going to talk about marketing strategies. um, the 7 steps to a marketing strategy, how to build marketing strategy. We're going to talk about those Facebook ads, analyzing those Facebook ads. I'm going to walk you through some of those things and what makes them really powerful, right? I'm going to walk you through all of that stuff. So, um, one thing I'm going to ask of you is hope you had a really good time today and you learned some things. If you did learn some things, please talk to me. Let me know what it is that you learned, some of the things that you're thinking about now. We talked about scarcity. We talked about social proof, authority, reciprocity, commitment, and consistency, liking. Talk to me about how you're going to begin thinking about using some of that stuff in your marketing. If you don't have a bunch of ideas, don't worry. I know I talked about some of them, but if you don't have a bunch of ideas, don't worry. We want to share some of those in part two, which is going to be next week. Is I'm going to continue tapping down and double tapping on this topic over the next couple of days, right? Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to really hone in on this because I have to go into 2020 with a full-fledged marketing strategy so that you understand the fundamental building blocks of what good marketing looks like and how you can implement that stuff in your everyday marketing. We quite literally use this stuff in Smart Alto. We quite literally use it, and it's one of the ways that we've grown from zero to millions of dollars in a couple of years is by using these strategies that I'm talking to you about today. So if you've had a good time today, please let me know. I would love to hear it. I want to make sure that you're getting value out of the group, and I want to make sure that you're having a good time in the group, and that is something that is something that's valuable to you. So one things that I'll ask of you. So I my goal in 2019 was to write for Forbes and was to speak at NAR. Ultimately, I was able to do both of those things. So I reached my most important goals in 2019. Moving into 2020, my goal is to write for either Fast Company or Inc. Magazine. Those are two things that I'm really interested in doing. I need your help to do that. One of the things I'm trying to do is my personal and professional profile. And so I'm asking for, if you have, watch one of my videos, if you're on this book live, you're watching the replay of this and you found it helpful and you've found some of the content and information that I've shared helpful for you, you've thought about some of it, you've implemented some of it in your business, it's helped get you some results, you've shared it with other people, you're in the group and you found the group valuable, then I'll ask you to please review me on my Google page. I created a Google page, I created a blog. I'm trying to get as many positive reviews through Google as possible so I can elevate my personal and professional profile so that when I submit and I try to work my way into Inc. and Fast Company, they'll Google me online and they'll say, hey, here's 100 reviews of this guy Hassan. He must know what he's talking about. I want to thank Wes. I want to thank Alina. I want to thank everyone who's done that already. My goal is to get to 100. And right now I have like 10, right? So I'm making good progress. And I know it's a slow road to get there, but if you would please be so kind to to um, to give me a review. This is not on the and so what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the bottom of this page, of the bottom of this comment chat. You can kind of see it, Chris. Yeah, I'll put a link there so that you can see it and find a place where you could give me a review. So I would appreciate that greatly. So my 3 o'clock call is about to start. Um, and so I gotta go. I'm actually 1 minute late for my 3 o'clock call now, so to go. But you found this valuable. If you did, put it in the comments, share after my call. I'll go back and I'll add some get on some extra podcasts. Yeah, let me know what those podcasts could be. Um, I am on a couple around. I'm kind of on a small speaking circuit, but we'll talk soon. I got to go. No problem, Chris. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who stayed around. I know it's a little bit longer than I originally expected, but hopefully we'll talk to you. All right. Bye.